ate this up, and they made Henry Ford a kind of folk hero.
Ford seizes the momentum, and his factories go into overdrive. His assembly lines start producing a revolutionary new car at a record rate. It's called the Model T, and it costs only $825. For the first time, a car the common man can afford.
Henry Ford created what became the most important industry in the American economy. He had no idea of the enormous impact it would have on almost every sector of American life. He literally changed America, the way we live, the way we do things, and the way we go about our business.
Ford's reputation won't always be so positive. But his revolution inspires an entire generation of visionaries who will transform the fabric of American life. Childhood friends William Harley and Arthur Davidson attach an engine to a bicycle and begin selling motorcycles to the masses. Milton Hershey applies Henry Ford's assembly line model to the mass production of chocolate. Chicago merchant William Wrigley takes his chewing gum national. And in Hollywood, Polish immigrant Max Factor begins distributing cosmetics for movie stars to drugstores across the country, inventing a completely new consumer product, makeup. This new breed of businessman is doing things a different way. They're creating products for the masses while paying their employees a livable wage, with safe working conditions and a standard 40-hour work week. The era of Rockefeller, Carnegie, and Morgan looks like it may have come to an end. But America's three most powerful men are just as relevant as ever before. Standard Oil gasoline stations appear across the country, fueling Henry Ford's cars.
Chúng tôi không ngừng nâng cao chất lượng sản phẩm và dịch vụ để mang đến những trải nghiệm giải trí đỉnh cao. Ra mắt website.
Cars that are built using Carnegie steel in factories powered by J.P. Morgan's electricity. The new breed of businessman may be doing things differently from their predecessors, but their innovations wouldn't be possible without the groundwork laid by men like Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and John D. Rockefeller. The result is broad prosperity shared throughout the country, and perhaps America's greatest innovation yet, a thriving and prosperous middle class.
The Industrial Revolution created the development of the middle class. It created wealth that we never would have imagined possible before.
John Rockefeller may have lost his court case, but the smaller companies created from Standard Oil will go on to become corporate giants with names like Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron. And John Rockefeller is a shareholder in each new company.
It's ironic, isn't it? I mean, it's a great moment in American history, and it established the principle that monopolistic practices should not be for the future. And that sounds really good, except now they were all separate, and my great-grandfather had large
amounts of stock in every one of them. He made more money than ever made in his life. The effect on John D. Rockefeller was absolutely blissful from his point of view.
Even in defeat, John Rockefeller becomes the richest man in the history of the world, with a net worth of almost $660 billion in today's money. With the stranglehold of the monopolies over, Americans now realize that anything is possible, as long as they work together. The nation is more powerful than ever, and that power will soon be needed. On a brisk spring morning, 2 years after the breakup of Standard Oil, John Rockefeller joins his old rival Andrew Carnegie to mourn the loss of one of their own. Less than a month from his 76th birthday, J.P. Morgan dies in his sleep. Morgan leaves such a mark on American finance that the New York Stock Exchange shuts down, an honor normally reserved for the passing of a president.
J.P. Morgan certainly was the foremost name in banking in terms of creating modern finance, and you can't have modern economy without a modern, effective, functioning banking system. He was as influential as any of the titans of that day.
While the old rivals once saw each other as cutthroat competitors, now in their twilight years, the fathers of American business have found a mutual respect. For Rockefeller and Carnegie, Morgan's passing is a reminder. Time is running short, and the realization triggers a new contest. No longer is there competition about who makes more money. Now the question is, who can give more away?
Andrew Carnegie was the first of the big capitalists of this era to be bitten by the philanthropy bug. He decided that he was going to use his wealth to good purpose, and he said that a man who dies rich dies disgraced.
Andrew Carnegie was not a very popular man among his millionaire friends because he demanded that the millionaire has to give away all of his money.
There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money. Making money is fun. I enjoy that very much. But I enjoy giving away money, even more so.
Carnegie gives away more than $350 million, $67 billion today. Most goes to education and his favorite cause, libraries. As more than 2,500 Carnegie libraries are built in 49 states and around the world. But even in this contest, Carnegie will be bested by his old rival. John Rockefeller will outlive Carnegie by 13 years. That time and his greater worth allows him to give away more money than Carnegie is ever able to. Throughout his life, Rockefeller has donated millions to his church and numerous universities. At the age of 73, he creates the Rockefeller Foundation with a personal endowment of $100 million, the equivalent of $38 billion today. That money will go on to advance public health around the world for decades.
My great-grandfather, he went full bore into philanthropy, whether that was a duty under sort of a Baptist stricture or whether it just came pouring out of him, I'm just not sure. But it doesn't make any difference. He did it.
John Rockefeller will live to be 97 years old and gives away more than $530 million in his lifetime. Gifts that today would total over $100 billion.
I look at Carnegie, I look at what Rockefeller did, and I revere these people for the second half of their lives, and they certainly are they're inspirations to people who have managed to be able to accumulate some wealth and want to be able to say, you know what, I now want to help others.
As the nation heads deeper into the 20th century, millions of Americans, for the first time ever, are able to take part in the American dream. Employed in well-paid and safe jobs, manufacturing products they themselves can now afford. The country is united, with a robust economy that benefits not just the rich, but everyone. It's the beginning of one of the longest periods of prosperity America will ever see.
It wasn't by accident that the 20th century became, the American century. America made the greatest strides in terms of harnessing these new technologies. We simply could outproduce any other nation in this world by the time the 20th century rolled around, and that clearly put us in a position to drive the global agenda. It's on the back of the Industrial Revolution.
But as World War I breaks out in Europe, the world looks for help. It looks to America. Just 50 years removed from the ashes of the Civil War, America has become a global superpower. By April of 1917, the country enters the war, sending troops, supplies, and weapons. Resources that will help bring peace to the world. But those resources would have never been possible without the contributions of a small group of visionary men. Men who sparked a revolution that forever changed America.
America was transformed by the vision, the incredible hard work and determination, and the willingness to take big risks that these men displayed. There is also no question that these men could not have done what they did anywhere else but America, because this place allows more people to dream than any other place in the world. All that matters is how big do you want to dream and how hard do you want to work.
From a broken country into the most powerful nation on earth, they didn't discover this modern America. They built it.